This is Justin coming to you live from GPE, and I'm excited to get started on a new mod for the Supra. Here's a clue. Tiny little box, does so much. AEM meth injection. Can't wait. Quick features, overview. As you see here on this new controller, this is the 30-3300, I believe. And so, as you see, this is progressive, just like my other meth injection kit that's on the MR2. The only difference is this one has big dials. The one on the MR2 is actually the Snow Performance Stage 2 kit, and that one requires a screwdriver. It's a nice, really small controller. It's the size of my hand controller. So here it has a nipple for the map sensor. This is so that it can see boost. And then here on this first dial, you set when it first starts spraying. I'm going to set that to 8 psi. And then when it fully comes on, spraying 100%, I'm going to set this to about 15 psi. Right now the car is making just over 10, and that way anytime I go over the factory boost setting, what's going to happen is that meth injection is going to come on. It's going to cool the boost charge and also add a little bit of an octane boost. So at this point I've finished cleaning up the wiring harness. It's still the night before. So what I hate on the wiring harnesses is when you just have bare wires. I try to prevent that from happening as much as I can. So after you figure out which way you're going to mount the wiring, what I do is I go ahead and loom the wiring in electrical tape. I prefer to just loom everything in electrical tape versus using an actual wire loom, just because it looks tidier, it looks neater. So this is how it's going to flow. So this is a plug that's going to actually go into the controller box, and one loom coming off of that is this loom, red and the black. This is going to go to the battery, positive and negative, directly, okay? So that's one wire there. This loom here, the long loom's 12 feet. This is going to actually go to the pump, which is already connected to the pump right now. This goes to the positive and negative wire of the pump. And as you see here, here's the hose that goes from here to the actual tank for the meth injection. It's actually directional, so you can see the arrow flowing from this way to this way. Very crucial that you get the flow direction correct. So it's going to intake from the pump here, or rather from the tank here, come through here. I'm going to attach the hose this way, and this is going to be the hose that actually attaches to the pipe. I'm actually on the MK3 Supra going to hook this up to the 3000 pipe. That should give me the correct distance. They say 6 to 8 inches before the throttle body is generally the right distance, so that you get proper atomization and combustion chamber cooling. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to follow their directions. And then on this loom here, this actually goes to the level sensor. So this will indicate if the meth level in the tank is too low, and it'll let you know to refill it, okay? This yellow wire, this is your switch 12-volt wire that arms the system. These wires here are going to be the wires that I'm not using, so I've just zip tied them up for proper wire management. I'm going to put this behind the dash or in the glove box or something like that. And so far, have this all loomed up, it's ready to go. Should only have to connect a couple of wires in the car, run the tank, drill everything down. Let me go ahead and grab the tank so I can show you what that looks like. Here's the tank here. As you see here, it's for a water methanol system. It's a 1.15 gallon tank. On the side, it's already pre-plumbed with a level sensor. On the bottom, it has a quick connect for the hose that I showed you earlier that's going to flow into the pump. On the back here, it already has feet for you to go ahead and drill this down and mount this properly in the system. And I'll go ahead and open the tank, let you see inside of that. So inside of the tank, which I don't know if that's being picked up on the camera or not, you can see the couple of prongs that are in there, and that is solely for the purpose of making sure that you have the correct level. There's a little rubber seal here on the inside of the cap to make sure that the tank does not leak. Okay, and lastly, the thing to make sure that you do when you mount this system is that you want to make sure that the pump is sitting lower than the tank. Okay, pump has to be lower than the tank. So when you mount this tank, don't have the pump up here. That's a fail. Have it down here or have it in line. So in line or lower, that's crucial. Got to make sure that you get that right. Okay, so that's about all I'm going to go over tonight. Once again, this is the AEM kit for meth injection, and it's going on my MK3 Supra Turbo, and I'll be installing this tomorrow. Okay, so let's go to that. So it's the next day, and I've already finished installing the methanol kit. Once again, it's an AEM methanol kit. Right now the tank is filled with just distilled water. I'll be putting methanol in it later once I put the math translator on. That way I can tune out the extra fuel. So let me do a quick overview of how it looks. So inside the car, you can see I have the controller installed right here just above the shifter. So as you see, here's where you set the starting pressure in PSI that the meth starts spraying, and here's where you set when it comes on at full, and then it just progressively scales between those points depending on what PSI you're at. And then you can see the status light here. Let me show you how it looks in the back and where I installed the tank. So here we are in the back, right where the back seats used to be. So I went ahead and installed the tank there. Once again, it's filled with water. Have it just bolted down in the bottom. It's going to be plenty fine to secure that. And then here, still messy back here, but here, this is where I have the pump. And I didn't mention it before, but the way that this kit works is the pump runs constantly. The pump runs constantly while it has power, and once you reach the designated boost levels, then it runs at a higher level. And then the actual sprayer nozzle has a check valve with a spring in it. So it doesn't use a solenoid on this setup. It only uses that so that once the pump kicks on initially, then it starts to spray in the car. But when the pump is running at low voltage, if that makes any sense, it doesn't dribble or anything like that into the intake chamber. So I used a spare 3000 pipe that was from the old Supra, and I went ahead and I drilled right here and mounted the nozzle here. I brought the line around the intake and down through the firewall and into the car, and I routed the water line along the center console, so it's just up and out of the way. Still need to do some cable management in the trunk, but so far it's good. Then it has the power and the negative going also here, and then it has a switch 12 volt that it's getting from an accessory wire in the center console. So that's how it looks. So let's see how it runs. Got the pump all bolted down. Everything's good. Oh, they're rolling forward like they're gonna go first. They're not. About to get left. Oh, they want it. enjoyed that. Just a couple of pulls on the water injection for now. We'll be running methanol later. So I'll catch you guys in the next video. Until then, GoPro, everything. Peace.